And Isa's boat, I think Isa's boat will be closest to us. I think that's kind of the green boat. Both these athletes are using Italian boats from a manufacturer called Filippi. And they have a deal with US Rowing, and US Rowing have very kindly brought out their boats. I think that looks like a start from me, and we are underway in the Lenny Peters Cup. This is the first event, and Isa Darvin is in that green boat, the US Sculler from Team USA, and with the white cap, she always races with that white cap, is Tabea Schendekhl. Tabea is 25 years of age, Isa's just 23. I'd say Isa has like, what, maybe 3 or 4 feet lead, guys?
Looks like it. It looks like they are both just getting into their rhythm as we speak.
Now, Isa walked on at the University of Wisconsin, and within 2 years was invited to U23 selection. So I think we can say that Isa is capable of anything and everything given a race. So it'll be very interesting to see as they're neck and neck here how we begin to separate.
Still very tight. That's so exciting and probably so fun.
So just a reminder, we're looking at the 25-year-old Tabea Schendekhl from Germany, former Husky. She studied at University of Washington. She's on the right of your picture and leading the race and just moving away. Could that be a decisive move that Isa Darvin, the 23-year-old, has made? She's a gold medalist in the women's pair at the Pan Am Games. That's just with one blade, but she's now, from the advice of her coach at California Rowing Club, where she trains Mike Tatey, she has turned to 2 blades, and she is now establishing a decisive lead over the German, and she's an Olympic bronze medalist, Tabea. And she hasn't looked over her shoulder, but, you know, you said, Emily, that Tabea has got that capacity to sprint at the end of the race, and I guess Isa will be well aware of that.
Exactly. If we look back at that Paris final, we'll see that that German quad just hung back confidently and really started to go at that 700 meters to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tabea has some tricks up her sleeve in the best way for the second half of this race.
Yeah, I like the way both scullers are moving. You know, these are women at the top of their game, the best technical exponents of this art. Tabea looks good around the front end, connected well. Maybe just not quite the power of the drive-through that Isa has got over there in the green boat on the far side. So we're certainly coming through to over halfway in this race, so probably about another 700 meters to go. And it does look good for Team USA, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We'll see if Tabea can hold on here, but Isa looks like she has a strong lead, and I know she's been training hard, you know, right before Sarasota and out in San Francisco, so I think that she has a really good chance at holding this lead.
So, you know, they're going through the bubbles, I think, coming from the dam. You can just see the disturbance on the water there. That's with about, I guess, 1,000 meters gone, so maybe just about 500 meters to go. And what's going to be Isa's tactics here? Is she going to look to ease off because, you know, she has to race later in the day for Team USA in the women's quad, where the 4 women's scullers get together. And I just wonder what Tabea's tactics might be as she goes through this disturbance you can see in the water.
Yeah.
Like, is Tabea going to say, right, I need to conserve my energy for the women's quad? Is she going to... She's kind of got quite a high rate of striking. She hasn't thrown in the towel yet, has she?
No, certainly not. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in these last few strokes here. They're coming into the last 500.
Yeah, we can look round. I can see them. They're kind of look like dots in the distance, but I think they've probably got something like 400, 500 meters to go. But I think now we can see Isa is now, she's lowered her cadence.
Yes.
Do you want to talk through what that means, Etta, just to folks watching who might not know?
Yes. So if during a race, if a boat is up and they have more races, either later in the day or later in the week, usually they'll lower their cadence to conserve energy for later in the day. We see this a lot at Henley. But yeah, we can see Isa doing this now because she will have 2 races later today.
What a great shot from the drone, just looking at them. And how do these guys steer a boat as well? Because they're not looking where they're going. So how do you steer a boat?
Yeah, well, it looks like they do have buoy lines out here. We were not aware of that earlier, but so as you're looking down the course, looking ahead, you can kind of see where your stern is pointed to, and you're able to kind of adjust yourself in relation to where the buoys are.
I mean, this has been a fantastic race for Isa. She powered off this. Well, I think Tabea powered off the start, didn't she?
Yes.
Maybe there's a little bit of a sprint from Tabea, but she's not going to make it up in the time to the finish. They have about maybe 100, 150 meters to the finish. And Isa has just sculled this race to perfection. The yellow duck is pretty much on the finish line, and you can see the graphic on the bottom of the screen from the Lenny Peters Cup. The famous yellow duck. Isa Darvin has, I would reckon that's about a 6 or 7 second lead. And
Looks like she is bringing it up a little bit for a sprint, and she just looks awesome.
You can just see that acceleration in the second half of the drive. That bow ball keeps moving even after Isa is then on the recovery.
Yeah, she crossed the finish line there. No little beep sound like you might hear in the Olympics. So the scullers just might have to race through it to make sure they've got there. But Isa Darvin absolutely nails that first point for Team USA against the rest of the world. And Tabea Schendekhl, well, she'll be hoping that she can do something different when the women's quads race later in the day. And we will see both these athletes later in the race. But fantastic pictures from our team here. And Isa's hand salutes the crowd here.